Hello guys, welcome back to Insights from the Unsighted by Rosebud. Once again, I have a question for you, but before I tell you the theme of this particular program in question form, I'm going to give you a quote that I have known and used for many years, and it might be anonymous. I can't tell you. I know when I first found the quote, there was no author's name there. So if there's one now, I don't know about it. But the quote is so powerful. And here it is. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I want you to ponder that, and I'm going to say it again. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Now, that quote actually could be related to one of the earlier programs about can blindness be a cure? Because it was all about not judging based on what you initially see. So in a way, that one is about, why don't you try changing the way you look at things? And maybe that person that you thought looked like a thug could look like something else. It actually could be something else. So the quotation can be connected to probably many of the themes that I like to talk about. But for this particular program, I want you to remember that quote as I go through a little activity with you. And the name of this program is, Can You See What I See? All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to share a couple of pictures with you. And I want you to just look at them. When you first looked at this, I wonder how many of you saw a rabbit. And how many of you saw a duck? Because actually, both things are embedded in this picture. Probably many of you saw both. You saw the rabbit first or the duck first, and it didn't take much for you to kind of shift your eyes a little bit to go from the duck to the rabbit. I didn't have to do a thing with this picture. I just held it up here, and probably most of you saw both pictures. All right? Let's try another one. How about this? When you look at this picture, I'm pretty sure most of you will say Rosebud. I mean, it's obviously that's a picture of a frog. I mean, everybody can see that, right? What if I turn the picture ever so slightly? Now what do you see? A horse. So when I had it here, it was like, well, yeah, everybody can see that. But I wonder how many of you, without me turning it, started saying, wait a minute, look like I see something else. And the rest of you saw it once I made a shift. Can you see what the other person saw? Or did you have to wait until I made a shift for you? All right, let's try one more. Okay, we look at this very attractive, young picture of a nurse, right? Everybody can see that. No arguments. We all see exactly the same thing. Now remember, the first picture I didn't have to do anything to for you to see the duck and the rabbit. The second picture, I had to turn it slightly. This one, I'm going to turn completely upside down. And what we thought was only a picture of a young nurse, now we see that it's also a picture of an older woman. Can you see what I see? So some of you might be saying, so Rosebud, what does this mean? Why did we do that activity? Because very often in life, we are very ingrained in what we believe we see, and what we believe we know to be true, when indeed somebody else's truth is just as viable. Now let's think about what we had to do in order to see the other thing. Sometimes some of us can see the other side a little more easily than someone else. Remember the duck and the rabbit? We didn't have to shake anything up. We didn't have to turn anything around. We didn't have to turn ourselves around. We just shifted our eyes and we were able to see the other picture. Wouldn't that be great if we could shift our thinking sometimes to try to understand the opinions of other people whose opinions don't match ours? So see, we're going deeper than pictures. We're going into opinions and perceptions and what we think is just the truth, when maybe there's another person's truth. Sometimes we have to turn things completely upside down before we have a chance of trying to hear what somebody else is saying. Can you see what I see? That's what this particular program means when I pose that question. Now I'm going to go back to the opening quote. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I want you to think about these 3 samples of pictures. We had to change the way we looked at the initial picture in order to see something else. I want you to do as I generally challenge you to do. Come up with some things within the next week or 2. And if you don't mind sharing, email, and I'll remind you that the email is always there, eliminateexcuse@gmail.com, and share with me some things that you actually did have to shift your thinking, shift your insight, shift your vision in order to see the other side. I would love to hear some of your examples. You'll also notice under the email is another website. I think it's been included in a few of the other programs, and I've forgotten to mention it. That's my new online store. There are products that I've created that you can find on my store that I've not mentioned up to now. There are 2 children's books called Through Talon's Eyes, and one book is, the subtitle is A Visit to Grandma's House, and the other one, the subtitle is Grandma, What is Prayer? I'd love for you to go on my store and you can read a synopsis of both of the books, and hopefully it'll spark your interest to order one or both. Another product that I have on my store is a box called Healing Words cards. And these are 52 Bible passages that I have used during the times in my life when I needed some uplifting. And the Bible is always a place I go for that. And what I did was to highlight specific passages that really brought me through some rough times. Some of it was when I lost my sight. I'll tell you in many programs from now how I actually read these cards. But trust me, I can. Another time was when I lost my husband. And there have been many other interruptions in life that we all have. So I hope that you might find these healing words cards beneficial for you. I've known a few people to say that they put up on the refrigerator 1 card per week. And they just really contemplate that particular passage for a week, which I think is a good idea. So, since that website had been up there for a while and I've forgotten to mention it to you, I wanted to close and make sure that I let you know about that. But let me go back to the purpose of today's program. Can you see what I see? Write me and let me know when you've had opportunities to see the other side. Thanks so much for dropping in. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others.